What's happening? The other day, as we enter the one of the best weekends of the year, the 4 day bank holiday weekend, I was having a chat with one of my friends on Thursday, and we got over the topic of, do you feel like you learn something every day? And I was like, do you know what? I think so, and not just in sort of like personal growth, just sort of like information, stuff about people, and what I said to her, I went, do you know what? It feels like every day is a lesson. And today that's what I'm going to talk about. Why every day seems to now think about, sort of feel like a lesson. Life never stops teaching. And sometimes, sort of every day, something happens, but we might not even notice that thing every day. But it's happening sort of in the background. And it sort of might come up later, in a few days, in a few weeks, in a few years. You never know, but stuff's always ticking away and changing. Even sort of our like everyday routines, they can sort of also have a sort of subtle shift to them, and sort of you don't know it's happening, but like naturally, just either just the change in yourself or the change in just sort of what's going on around you, there's going to be that shift. Life, it doesn't wait for you, and it also doesn't ask for your permission. Like back in the day when you go to school and you had to get your parents to sign a permission slip for you. You have to get that done. But in life, in your own brain, it doesn't wait for you. It just does it. And there's no other like sort of decision, because it might even just be happening while you're asleep, where you're not operating to sort of change that decision. We also had a debate where like everyone's sort of living a different life. That's why stuff seems to be sort of changing and getting learned every day. We all live unique lives, but we all share these lessons. Like in school, you're all at different abilities, but you all come into a 30 people classroom and learn. We all live these unique lives, but whilst we live this unique life, there's also these sort of universal truths that will always be there and will never change. I've been saying that I I need to sort of find a book. I've been looking for a book to sort of just like enhance my knowledge of the world. And I was speaking to my friend this day, and I haven't really seen him a lot in the last 5 years since COVID, since we left school, and he put me onto a few good books, and I've got now some that I'm going to order and read and see what happens. And with this thing, we learn that a single conversation can guide or shape our path forever. If I hadn't seen that friend that I hadn't spoken to often for the last 5 years, I would never have potentially found this book that I'm going to find, because knowing me, I wouldn't have been able to find it. The best thing about this is that we can learn something from everyone, and that could be strangers, that could be friends, family, and also our past selves. There's also the collective of we've been able to collect stories, memories, and ideas in life, in these past lessons. Each day, though, new stories are unfolding around us. This is in the news. This is in friendships. This is in relationships. This is in dynamic group circles. It just changes every day, because people are living their unique life differently every day, like me. Memories are made even in sometimes the smaller, forgettable moments where, like, like when you're at the pub with your friends and something happens and it was funny, and then eventually you'll forget about it. But then eventually, like 5 years later, you'll be out and you'll go, "Do you remember when this happened?" And it's like, "Yeah, I do remember that," and it was class. Ideas, though, they're like sparks in your brain where it goes. And the thing is, with a spark, some fade and some light the way. Thoughts, they become actions, and actions are what enhance your personal growth in life. There's also the saying of, do you know what? Life happened. And when life just happens, life becomes sort of unfiltered and unpredictable, and it's happened because you weren't expecting it to happen. You weren't expecting this change to happen. But I think with this, we're in this disruption, this change. There's a joy in it. There's a joy in disruption of our life, where if we don't expect, then we don't demand. We sort of, if something unexpected happens, we get maybe like excited, and we're like, you know what? That was a great thing to happen to me, even though I didn't expect it was going to happen. I think also there's lessons though that repeat in our lives, and lessons come back when we're not fully paying attention initially. And these lessons that we've had in the past, they've shapeshifted. Like in Ben 10, when he gets the Omnitrix and he slaps it down and it becomes four arms, and then he resets it and then he becomes the small one. I can't remember the name of it, but he was a class character. And the thing is, you shapeshift and you return in a new form, with new ideas, with new intellect. And especially as when you get older and these lessons come back and you approach it differently, and you go, I never thought about this angle before, but now I have. Life likes to test our understanding, and that's the main point of, like I said, getting older. When you get older, you just naturally learn more about yourself and what you're saying and what you're doing. And when these lessons repeat themselves, you're then more equipped to function and carry out what's needed to be appropriate at the right time. I think also with these lessons that there's the angle of pain that's come in, and I think pain can sort of become a teacher, because pain doesn't lie, and it can sort of give away that illusion where you think you're suffering, but really the pain needed to happen. Pain forces us to sort of face up to the things that we were trying to avoid before, and now that we've felt that pain, we go, I'm going to do something differently. One of these things could be like, you could be in a relationship and then it could end and you could be heartbroken, and then the next time you get to that stage with a new girl, a new relationship, you go, I don't want to feel this pain again, so I don't want to suffer the same, but I'm going to face these problems face on this time rather than leaving them off, so that potentially the relationship actually lasts and I don't cause a crazy explosional issue. Pain refines and strengthens us, and it what I mean by this is we've grown. It refines our craft. It strengthens our decision making, our moods, and we need to feel that pain to feel the good bit at the end of the tunnel. In a lot of videos I've watched, in sort of inspiration for my videos as well, is I see a lot of conversation on how life is nuanced, and I had to do my research for it because I was like, I don't actually know what that word means, and I would do one video on it, but I think whilst I was looking up what to add into this video about it, I've kind of discussed a lot of it, just like on a whim, like by accident, and sort of I don't really need to make a video, because if you watch the rest, you'll see that I've pretty much mentioned it before. Life is nuanced because life is never just one thing, and the thing with having a nuanced life, and that's like superficial life and things like this, is that things in our life coexist for a reason. So, like when you have a problem, there's always a solution. When you feel grief, when you get sad, there's always joy and happiness that follow. It's a bit like Inside Out, the movie, that I haven't watched the second one, and I probably won't. And I think one of the best ones for this as well is because obviously one of the biggest lessons is the lesson of love. Love sits beside fear. So right now, if I'm feeling loving, fear is sat right next to me right here. I don't know it, but it is. There's also a beauty in sort of the grey part of life, the moody bit, when the clouds are covering the sun. Life isn't black and white. The thing with the grey part of our life, it sort of lives in the in-between. It lives in the shadows, it lives in the sun rays, it lives behind the clouds. And in life, I think what I will say is that I think context in life really matters, because sort of every story you're going to hear from someone, there's either two sides or has a deeper reason. And this sort of grey area, this stillness in the world, it sort of allows you to it allows you to think about how much it sort of holds the wisdom, as well as sort of how uncertainty does the same thing. The grey area is sort of the uncertainty in life. The grey area is where we question. It's where we sort of fight our demons, and it's where we sort of grow ourselves every day throughout the year. How we get on with people, relationships, and just how we operate when we're not feeling 100% or we're not 100% functioning like we potentially might be on some other days. With the grey area as well, it's also where sort of the beautiful truths are found, where you weren't thinking about it. And like we said before, with our shared lessons and unique lives, is that there's universal truths, which everyone already knows about. But in this grey area, which sort of could be sort of just for you, that's when these beautiful truths are found. And to finalise about the lessons of life, we have to embrace the unfinished journey of life, which we're all on. We're all on this journey because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're a work in progress. Have you watched the Lego movie? This is my 100th reference today. Have you watched the Lego movie where Emmett wakes up every day and he's a default Lego. He's the normal, regular bloke. And then he's sort of trying to become something greater, like that master builder that a lot of people are. He's not a master builder. He would love to be a master builder, but he's not. He wants to work and do better and become something, but he's not had that opportunity. He was a work in progress until he found the crackle, and then he became a master builder because he had that belief that his journey wasn't over. We get a chance in life to learn, to unlearn, and to discover something about ourselves, about the world, about our surroundings every single day. And the best thing about a journey will be messy, but a journey will also be honest, where you put yourself in positions where you're not fully comfortable, where it's a bit like it's a messy, and you go, I need to be honest with myself right now. How am I going to operate this situation, this journey, to get down the path I want to get to? But the thing with a journey and the lesson of life is that we never stop learning, because life never stops teaching.